Okay, so the thing I'm getting ready to explain to you is extremely nuanced, and you have to listen to the way that I say it. Okay, but before we get started, I'd like to remind you to like the video if you like these videos. If you keep coming back, like it, it helps me. Uh, and comment if there's something you want to comment, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. There's a lot of people that are viewing my videos from Twitter, and I don't always remember to put everything over on Twitter. So, uh, you know, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, so, and also if you watch me on YouTube, go over and follow me on Twitter, because then that will be connected if something should happen to my YouTube channel. All right, so um, let me tell you a little story. Um, let's see, how do I get this up here? Okay, so okay, I see what I got here. Okay, so now when I was a kid, um, I don't know if I told you this or not, but my dad was always talking about waste not, want not, waste not, want not, and I made a video of that. Um, hang on a second. Wonder if that's better. Okay, I don't know if that's more normal or not. Let's see. Okay, this got a little messed up a minute ago. Okay, so anyway, uh, my dad was always saying waste not, want not. And so I was just sort of following my dad's, uh, you know, way of thinking. And my uncle was making scrambled eggs, right? And it looked about like his pan looked about like this right here, the one that I'm circling, right? Hang on. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm a little lost here. Okay. It looked about like this one right here. Okay. And I said, "You're wasting it," right? I'll never forget this. This is the first time I ever heard this said in this way. So I was talking about the eggs that are sticking to the pan, right? And I said, "You shouldn't waste it, right? You're wasting it." And he just gave me this really funny look, right? And he said, "That's part of it, right? That's part of it." And listen to the way that I'm saying it. That's part of it. Okay, I'm going to slow it down. So there's a couple different ways you could say. You could say that's part of it. That's part of it. But that's not what this is. It's that's part of it. So you stress of, right? That's part of it. And so it's basically saying that you can't make scrambled eggs without wasting a little bit of it. And so it's kind of saying that you can't have scrambled eggs. You can't have that good thing that you want without having that bad thing. You can't remove it. And it's also saying that that is kind of like accepted. It's accepted to be part of it, right? So let's say, for example, if I said, well, I want to be a professor, right? If I said that, but I also said, like let's say if I was going to get my PhD and I said, yeah, I want to be a professor, but I don't like doing all of these citations. These are called citations, and this is called a big bibliography. And it's very there's a certain style and you have to follow it, and you can't make any mistakes or your editor will, you know, criticize you or tell you to do it again. And so if I said something like, okay, all right, this software that I'm using, it's good software, but it's free, and sometimes it works, it does weird things. Okay, so I had to start this video over again, and thank you to Norbert for letting me know. Uh, but you know, it sucks, but that's part of it. That's part of being a YouTuber, is you got to deal with stuff like that. Uh, but okay, so that's part of it. It comes with the territory. So you know, um, okay, so it's hard to remember all of my examples that I have, but I remember I was going to go into the U.S. Air Force, and I was going to go into this job that was called fuels, and the there was a guy who was kind of interviewing me. It was kind of like a job. It was like they recruited you based on fitting you into this certain job, and the job had a lot of bonuses, and it was great. It was great money and great benefits and stuff. But I went to meet this guy, and he showed me kind of what the job was going to be about. He said, "Yeah, you know, fuels people. That what happens is the cargo, the fuel door opens in this plane, and then you got to connect this hose, and to a fighter jet will come to the fuel plane, and you got to connect this hose and fuel the plane in the middle of the air." And I said, "Wait, in the middle of the air? Flying? You refuel a plane in the air?" And he said, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Oh God, this is scary, you know." And he said, "Oh, comes with the territory. You want to be in the Air Force, you got to do that." So I was like, "Oh man, well I guess I have to like get used to it." And and he said, "Yeah, that's part of it, right?" So um, and even one of your candles going out is part of it too, I guess. I can see that behind me. Okay. Anyway, uh, so it's part of it. It comes with the territory. Um, so let's say, for example, you know, like I like my job, right? But when I teach writing, I have to mark a lot of papers. I got to read a lot of papers. Actually, right now, um, after I make this series of videos, I've got to grade a lot of papers, and and that means I got to do a lot of reading and stuff. It's fun. It's fun, but it gets tiresome, and because these days you have to find out if the student, you have to determine if you think the student cheated or not, because they can use, it's like they're not mature enough. They're like they're like 18, 19 years old, but they're not paying for their own university. Their parents are paying for it, which is, for me, it it's a different world, because I wanted, when I went to university, I wanted to get a good value, and I did my homework, man, and I would never dream of cheating. And nobody I knew cheated. Seriously, nobody cheated. Nobody cheated. The punishments would be too severe. But a lot of my students will cheat. So they'll write something in their own language, and they'll run it through translation software. And a few years ago, it was easy to notice it, right? But these days, it's getting harder and harder to detect. So I gotta read this stuff and then think about whether I think this student is the type of student that would cheat. And so, but you know, it's part of it. There's fun parts to the job too, but that just comes with the territory, right? Anyway, so there's a lot of things like that. Uh, I almost kind of like forgot all of my examples because I'm redoing this. So Oh, yeah, yeah. I had a good one. Okay, so let's say you're an ophthalmologist, right? Let's say you're an ophthalmologist, and you realize that if you make this decision, there's a risk. If you decide to do the surgery, there's going to be a risk. And if you decide not to do the surgery, there's going to be a risk. There's always these costs and benefits and risks, and you wish you didn't have to make these decisions, because no matter which decision you make, there's a chance that it could be the wrong decision, and you wish you didn't have to do that, but that's what you signed up for, and that comes with the territory, right? And it's part of it, really. So listen to the way I'm saying it. Part of it, right? So you can't say, so if you said to one of your colleagues, yeah, I don't, uh, I don't like reading these medical journals all the time to keep up with my profession. And, or no, you say it to your supervisor if you had one. I don't like reading these medical journals. It's bothersome. I'm busy. And your boss might say, hey, that's part of it, right? That's part of it. You're a doctor. You have to do that. So, um, anyway, so pay attention to the way it's said. That's part of it. It's part of it. Comes with the territory. So I will talk to you on the next idiom.